don't have nearly as much of an authority voice as some of your teachers here, but good morning. We're ready to get started. Got a thumbs up from... All right, so my name is Krista Hunlock. Thank you guys for all being here. We have a truck that I drove up from Renton today, this morning, parked right outside these doors, so we're gonna try to end by 11:15. So you guys have enough time to go out there, see the truck, see the table, and then also talk to us one-on-one if you're interested as we go. So just wanted to let you know that. Thank you to Kristen and to the Northwest Educational School District team for putting all this together, and also to Cedra Woolley and the teams here. And thank you to all my panelists for coming. We came from all over Puget Sound to be here and talk with you guys. So I've been with PACCAR for about 2 years, and I can tell you I chose a career with PACCAR because they're a very stable company with 85 years of net profit in an industry of essential employees. PACCAR is well known to develop talent, promote from within, and provide opportunities throughout the business. And we're really excited to share with you what our experiences are. Also with me today is Derek. Derek, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hello everyone, my name is Derek Troy. I'm a senior technical recruiter for PACCAR. I've been here for 3 years, but I've been a recruiter for over a decade. I've done video game development, to social work, to engineering, to software development. PACCAR has over 32,000 employees globally. Our closest facility is in Mount Vernon at the PACCAR Technical Center, but you'll see from the range of panelists today that we need accountants, lawyers, diesel technicians, engineers, software developers, even commercial air pilots to be part of the company. For any time you want to look at our careers and what we have available, there's our website right there, www.paccar.com/careers. Also jobs.paccar.com will get you there. We post on average over 300 positions in the United States alone. So anytime you can also sign up for career alerts, and that's the best way to know what's coming out and to stay connected. But we will have a bunch of internships posted as well. That's the best way to get into the company. Also happy to talk to anyone about any questions they have, recruitment-wise, HR-wise, benefit-wise, after the presentation today.
Thanks, Derek. So I've got a couple slides to talk about who the heck is PACCAR. How many of you guys have heard of PACCAR? Awesome. How many people have heard of Kenworth trucks? About Peterbilt trucks? And how about DAF trucks? US, that's our European brand. So PACCAR is the parent company. You guys know the PACCAR Technical Center, which is right up the street there in Mount Vernon. PACCAR is the parent company, and then we do own the brands, own and design and manufacture Peterbilt, Kenworth, and then DAF trucks overseas. PACCAR is a Fortune 200 company, so if you haven't heard of that, Google it. There's Fortune 500, then there's Fortune 200. We were established in 1905, and we have a rich history in Seattle. Originally, PACCAR was a steel foundry, and in fact, if you go to the Space Needle, you'll see that PACCAR was the one that did the steel for the Space Needle, so definitely a rich history in this area. As Derek said, we now employ over 30,000 employees, 100 years of history. Obviously, I know you can't read every detail on that slide, but we're happy to provide this if you're interested, and it is on our website as well. We manufacture premium, light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. And I know when I choose an employer, especially in technology or manufacturing, I want one who's been around a long time, has a history of success, and even better, a pension. It's pretty rare. We also have a global footprint. So if you ever have interest in working overseas, doing expat opportunities, there are plenty of those within the PACCAR umbrella. We also design and manufacture our own diesel engines. We provide financial services, information technology, distribute truck parts globally, and again, we have a very large global footprint. So here is where I'm not gonna bore you with a bunch of graphs, but 2 of them in here. This one is where we align when it comes to trucks. So there are other truck brands out there on the road. Maybe you notice, maybe you don't. Maybe you just notice you're trying to pass them on the highway, but Daimler Trucks is the Freightliner brand. They are #1 for volume. We are a close second, with Kenworth and Peterbilt making up that. But what we don't have for quantity, we make up for with profitability. So this graph, again, these are the only two graphs I'm going to bore you with or show you, but these graphs are showing that PACCAR is number one when it comes to being profitable. And that profitability means you have a stable company, you have a pension, and we also invest back into the product and technology. And this slide here is just to say, feel free to Google the headlines for PACCAR. We publish everything publicly as far as how we're doing as a company and what we're investing in. So the last slide for me, I lead the PACCAR Women's Association outreach group, and we are the one who kind of sponsored putting this together, but we aren't women-focused only, right? So this is making sure that no matter what background you come from, what gender, race, age you are, PACCAR is very invested in making sure that you have every opportunity. Fostering the very best talent means we're also committed to inclusivity, diversity, and equity, and we've been recognized by Women in Trucking Association 8 years as of this week, 8 years consecutive as a top transportation company for women to work. Along with our global footprint, we also have many different divisions. So Derek kind of alluded to that. There are opportunities in engineering, diesel technician, finance, marketing, really you name it. Also, that extends even further if you look at our dealership network. So we have opportunities for diesel tech repair within PACCAR at the PTC, and we'll talk more about that. But then also out into our dealership network, there's even more opportunities. So represented today on the panel and the people sitting in front of you here, my colleagues, we have people from really the whole Puget Sound area with the division. So from Kenworth Trucks, like myself, and some of the others we'll introduce, from PACCAR Technical Center in Mount Vernon, from PACCAR Parts, which is down in Renton, and then from really PACCAR Corporate or PACCAR Leasing for some of the corporate roles as well. So with that, I'm going to have the panelists introduce themselves. Bear with us, we're going to get used to running up to the mic one at a time, but maybe what's easiest is to start here and go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Tasha Crude. I've only been at PACCAR, I guess, 1 year today, but I have had a whole bunch of other automotive experience. Worked at Honda R&D doing passenger vehicles for 4.5 years, and then electric vehicles as a startup company for 2 before joining PACCAR. I grew up in the Midwest and East Coast, so it's very rainy here this time of year for me. But I went to school at Virginia Tech, got a bachelor's degree in engineering and a minor in German. I did some car stuff as internships and co-ops, and study abroad, so journalism. And then pretty much as soon as I pulled this figure out, I wanted to be automotive. So very happy to be in the Pacific Northwest.
Morning everyone, my name's Elise Devon. I have been with PACCAR for 16 years. I am at the corporate office currently and always been in the accounting organisation. You'd be surprised how much accounting PACCAR does, but we have several divisions, like Krista pointed out, both at parts, truck divisions, and at our finance companies. So I haven't had any issues with variety of accounting over my 16 years. If you notice, I have an accent, so I relocated from Australia. I started at PACCAR Australia. I relocated in 2017 to Seattle, so I've been here about 8 years now, just enjoying traveling around the US and getting to know the culture.
I'm Jackie Lepore, and I have a marketing and advertising background. So I started at PACCAR 13 years ago. I had an ad agency in Seattle for several years, and PACCAR was one of my clients. And so I ended up working for them, and I haven't left since. So what I do now, I'm a digital marketing manager. So what that means is my team is in charge of all the social media, websites, email, texting, everything roles on the marketing and advertising side. So happy to be here.
Hello everyone, thank you for having us today. My name is Gina Balker and I am the Renton PDC manager. Essentially what that means is I run a warehouse in Renton, Washington. We have 20 globally at PACCAR parts. I've been with PACCAR now going on 13 years, not quite as long as Jackie. In that time I've had a variety of roles. I'm used to working in retail marketing alongside Jackie. I've been in supply chain. I've had opportunities to travel globally with the company with a variety of roles. Now here I am as a female leader in operations. Very excited to be here. My background prior to this, so I've been with PACCAR now 13 years. Prior to this, I had my own small business, ran my own family small business. I decided to take a role with PACCAR and I'm very excited to be here. My educational background is interesting. I did go to school before coming to PACCAR, but then I went back to school after being in PACCAR. So I had my associate's degree, and then with PACCAR in our education program, I went back and received my bachelor's degree, and then went on as a single mom of 3 kids to get my master's degree. So a lot of really wonderful educational opportunities with our company as well. So thank you again for having us today.
Hello, I am AJ Antrim. I've been with PACCAR for about 4 years since I graduated college. Before that, I really hadn't known where I was going with my life. I was fascinated by robotics in high school, but really didn't have any real direction up until I ended up as an intern at the PACCAR Technical Center, at which point kind of been acting or moved towards trying to work for PACCAR, ended up working for PACCAR when I graduated and have ever since.
Hello, my name is Ashley Dominguez. I grew up here in the Pacific Northwest, Washington, in Sammamish, and I ended up going to the University of Washington to study electrical engineering. While I was there, I met a few people in my classes, but most notably, I met someone who called me up one random day and was like, "Hey, are you looking for something? Because I joined this really awesome team, and I'm doing this and this, and I love my job." And I ended up applying, and that was my first job out of college. So I have been with Kenworth Trucks for 2 years now, almost, and I get to interface with other stakeholders and kind of define what kind of functionality our trucks will have, and I really love it.
Hello, my name is Dean Johns. I am an engineering manager, powertrain and test lab manager here at the PACCAR Technical Center. I've been with PACCAR for 20 years. My last year in high school, I went to a technical program where I was doing automotive, similar to what you guys do here. Finished high school, did a two-year program at the community college for automotive service. I was an automotive tech for about 15 years before joining PACCAR, and took advantage of their tuition reimbursement program and finished my engineering degree, and eventually made it back to the engine test lab.
Right, my name's Darren Erickson. I grew up just north of Alger, graduated from Seum High School, so I am local. Despite that, I've lived and worked all over the country during my engineering career. Lived in Seattle, Boise, Michigan, North Carolina. I've been to almost all 50 states and all over Canada. And I've been really fortunate to do some things that I never would have dreamed of. I built electric cars for a company before electric cars were common. Worked on prototype military vehicles, including a few that were secret projects. I've slid semi-trucks sideways on frozen lakes to evaluate safety systems and brakes. I've driven trucks equipped with special anti-rollover outrigger and tried to put those trucks over on their side at 60 miles an hour on the asphalt. Good stuff. So I spent the last part of my career developing future powertrains, which included lots of driving miles all over North America. That testing took me to the ice roads in the Arctic, where the inside of your nose freezes the minute you step outside. It also took me to Death Valley, California, which is the hottest place on earth. It's got a road through it. So when you climb out of the truck there in Death Valley, it's like opening the oven door, having that blast of heat hit your face. So I've also been fortunate to work directly with my European coworkers and was able to travel there frequently. In my downtime there, I was able to explore and learn more about European countries. When I look back and say, how did all this happen? The common theme is that I've always embraced learning new things and never been afraid to ask questions. I encourage you to do the same.
All right. Hello, I'm Rick Berry. I've been with PACCAR for almost 25 years now. Started out at the Kenworth Truck Factory as a production assembler, and then went to the PACCAR parts at the Engine Support Center, and now currently I'm the manager of the Advanced Diagnostics Group at PACCAR Technical Center for PACCAR Powertrain. And so we're the third tier technical support group. We assist technicians resolve difficult issues with engines, investigations on Kenworth and Peterbilt trucks. So they come into the local Kenworth and Peterbilt dealerships. They attempt to resolve the issue. If they run into trouble, it goes to the first tier, then it escalated to the second tier, and then it comes to our group where we're the backstop, the last good line of defense. So we get a lot of the really fun issues, and definitely a very rewarding.
Thanks, everyone. So I just wanted to ask the room, shout out your answer. What % of everything in this room do you think was delivered by a truck? 75. That's exactly right. Yeah, so the figure they're saying today is 75% of all goods. You must have Googled ahead of time, but yes, 75% of all goods moved by a truck. And if you guys remember 2020 when the toilet paper disappeared, those are trucks, right? That's putting things back on the shelf. So that's why we called today Careers with a Purpose. You heard from all the panelists, and you'll hear a bit more as we get into the questions, but you get to see your product going down the road. You get to see parts you designed or parts you've sold, but it is an essential career. I also didn't share my background, so I work for Kenworth. I'm the Senior Technical Advisor. I've been in the truck industry for 14 years, 22 if you include my time working in the hub at UPS. Does anyone want to guess what I went to college for?
Communication.
Huh? Music. Yeah, I got a music degree. So I'm not slamming them, I'm just saying that you can take all different paths to end up somewhere that pays really well and is really solid, as opposed to trying to be a professional musician, which, yeah, not knocking it, but happy to have a pension and a good paycheck now. So we'll get into the questions. Again, I'm going to go for about 30 minutes. I'm going to stop us at 11:15. I want to make sure we have time to go out and look at the truck, and you can talk one-on-one. We won't take live questions here just because of time, but when we go out to the truck, feel free to pick your favorite panelist and ask your questions then while we're at the truck. And I think is it okay for them to pull the horn? Loud horn? All right. Okay, so we'll get into the questions. Darren, I'm going to start with you. You gave us a little bit of your background, but you know, how did you end up in the truck industry? Maybe something more than what you just shared with us.
Well, growing up, I had neighbors that were longshoremen. They also owned log trucks. Thank you. So growing up, I had neighbors that were longshoremen, and they also had logging trucks. So I spent some time, they would hire me to clean out their trucks every now and then. I got to sit behind the wheel and was always fascinated with those trucks. I had another neighbor that hauled Rainier beer from Seattle to Bellingham every day. He could put that big, huge, long semi-truck backed up a hill and into his parking spot every day. It was just poetic to watch him do that. He had incredible skill moving that truck. And he was very diligent about keeping the trailer locked. So anyway, in high school, I was probably not, I'm not very interested in attending high school when I was a senior. So I went to tech school, and I got a certificate in auto body. Worked in a body shop, nice cars. We worked on Porsches and a lot of imports. I really wasn't very good at it. So I ended up working different jobs, finally went back to community college, got a 2-year degree, and it's a similar story to a lot of people. I crossed paths with a college professor at a car show, and he told me about a university degree that I could get working on cars. I ended up getting the requirements necessary to go to the university, got my 4-year degree in industrial technology from Western Washington University, we built cars. I worked for an electric car company for a year after graduating from there, but then Kenworth came calling, and the opportunity to work for a company that was willing to invest in me was far too hard to resist, and I went to work for Kenworth a year out of college.
What led me to PACCAR?
What led you to trucking?
What led me to trucking? Okay. Well, fun fact, I'm a PACCAR baby, actually a Kenworth baby. So my mom was with the company for 40 years. I grew up in North Seattle, Shoreline, Washington. I had no desire to go into trucking as a kid, I'll tell you that. But I had the opportunity to go work with PACCAR for an internship, a summer internship at the Kenworth Renton truck factory back in the late 90s when I was 2 years old. And then I had the opportunity to come back to PACCAR full-time when I decided to no longer run my business because that's a lot of work. I knew some people at PACCAR through my mom, so that was a really wonderful thing. So I ended up at PACCAR Parts, which is a division of PACCAR that she had never worked for. But I quickly learned that it doesn't really matter the industry necessarily. I was in supply chain, I was in marketing, now I'm in operations. We sell truck parts. I knew nothing about truck parts other than climbing around in trucks when I was a kid at my mom's family business. So yeah, here I am. That's essentially what led me into trucking.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, I started out after high school as an automotive technician, and through working on passenger cars, I worked for a Dodge place, so they had Cummins diesels in those Dodge trucks, and so I had to work on those diesels. And then an opportunity came up to go into engine testing in a dynamometer test lab, where we put engines on the test stand and test the engines. And so that's how I got into diesel engines, and of course then over into trucking that way.
I'm also curious, how many of you know someone in the truck industry? Truck driver, works on them? That's awesome. That's good. In my experience doing events like these for the past decade, usually you have to know someone in trucking, be related. How many people are related to someone up here too? All my friends worked at Detroit Diesel. That's how I ended up going into the truck industry as well. So that's why we do events like these, to make sure that those of you who don't already have a connection know about trucking. So next question, Tasha, what type of work do you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so I may have glazed over that a little bit. So I am a senior vehicle controls engineer in the same group as so we do vehicle function definition. So very high level of what that is customers have needs at once for trucks. We are putting how the truck's going to run, what all is going to be on the truck. So anything from cruise control to accelerator pedal control, brake pedal, brake, anything and everything, lighting, sounds, all of that we define how we want it to operate in order to have the customer
Awesome. Thanks, Tasha. Tell us what you do on a daily basis.
So we do a lot of marketing. So when you're driving around Canada, US, Mexico even, and you see Peterbilt and Kenworth dealerships, right? We're helping all of those dealerships, hundreds of dealerships around nationwide market, right? To drivers and to other folks, anyone in the transportation industry. So we are talking to those dealers every day figuring out the next text promotion that we're going to do. We're figuring out our social media platforms, what we're going to do next. So there's a lot of design, a lot of creative, and a lot of technology. There's a lot of system work where we're putting together systems. Gina used to run the loyalty program, which is similar to like a Starbucks program. We have that for our drivers, and so we do a lot of technical and digital work on that too. So a lot of creative things to do. Everything, no days.
I was an engineering manager for most of my career, but the last 3.5 years I've spent traveling the U.S. and Canada to work with high school students and technical college students. And my job is to align people who have an interest in becoming dealership technicians with the local dealerships, coaching those dealerships on how best to communicate with young people. Because the reality is a lot of our dealerships have old guys like me in them that don't necessarily know how to communicate with them. So my job is to bring those schools and those dealerships together.
Maybe you guys can teach him some of your slang words. Let's go to Brent. Brent, how do you get a feel for the day-to-day work you'll be doing in a company? So if you're just starting out and you're looking at a company, how do you get a feel for what your day is going to look like?
Yeah, you know, I thought this was an interesting question because when I was getting out of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, let alone, you know, start digging into the type of job, you know, the day-to-day type activity. So for me, I knew that I was good with wrench, I could put things together, and so taking the approach, get in there, you fit in, I was able to get hired on as a production assembler at the Kenworth plant. And once I got in there, it really opened up a lot of doors for me. You know, PACCAR is it's a big corporation, but it can feel like a smaller company or a smaller family. It's really easy to meet other people and build social capital and figure out, you know, where you want to go. And so building trucks along the way, I was able to go to school and take advantage of the PACCAR's tuition reimbursement program, which is 50%, which is really, really excellent. And PACCAR supports people furthering their education and trying to accommodate them. So I was able to take advantage of that and then, you know, figure out where I wanted to go, ask people, you know, the day-to-day. I would say for those of you that are going to college and you're looking at PACCAR as a potential place to work, I really recommend trying to get a summer internship. So PACCAR does support a lot of interns throughout the summer. It's a great way to make some money, but really the big benefit is to get in and start asking, you know, what do you do? And understand the different groups, their responsibilities, their day-to-day. That will really give you a better understanding of what might interest you, so when you do graduate, you can have that targeted group or responsibility to go after that.
Thanks, Brent. So Elise, I'm going to ask you this one. How much do employers really expect you to know and do in your first month or year, and how much is actually learned on the job?
All right, so coming from an accounting degree, it is an employer really, if you're coming in just fresh, an employer doesn't expect you to know anything. That's why we have all our different levels of management and all our different colleagues and peers that we can learn off. I think you'll find what you learn in school can sometimes be very different to what happens in real life. Coming, like I said, from accounting, you learn your debits and your credits at school. When you come into real life business, you realize it's not just yourself and an accounting department that gets to dictate what you do. You have pull and push pressures from leadership, from different departments that are asking you to do things, and trying to understand what everyone needs will take time. And I don't think anyone expects you to know what to do immediately, but I think if you're curious and you want to understand what you're doing, it's always best to ask questions and learn as much as you can to, I guess, be supportive of both your colleagues and management as you head towards, I guess, a goal that you're all aiming for.
You've been with PACCAR for a year, right? So you should have a pretty good idea. How much does your boss or does your team expect you to know right away?
Yeah, so I've had multiple different companies. PACCAR, even though I came from passenger vehicle, trucking is very different. There's a big onboarding process no matter what department you go into or what you decide you're going to be doing. There's an onboarding process. So all of the nitty-gritty HR details that they take you through trainings and all of the code of conduct things. And then your actual technical role training as well. So you're not expected to know everything on day one. It's a bonus if you have some background info into what it is, which if you kind of want to know what the role is or more about it, I use Glassdoor for a lot of positions that I was applying for. And then kind of ask more supervisors or any of the interviewers to get a better feel for what they expected from the
Thank you. So AJ, this one's for you, AJ. What types of educational or professional development opportunities exist? We heard a few people mention tuition reimbursement, but how about you?
Yeah, so I may have forgotten to mention my school and major during my introduction. I did go to school for mechanical engineering, but a lot of my friends back in high school did not get into college or either did not get the financial aid that they needed to go. That a lot of them have then gone to either work for PACCAR in the plant and actually building the trucks and used that tuition reimbursement over the years to then go get degrees if they wanted to. Or also there are quite a few career paths just working on the more technical aspect or more hands-on aspect of building the vehicles. And then also with that, a lot of people that I know that have gotten their degrees have then gone back and gotten further education, either after getting a technical certificate or a 2-year technical degree and getting situated at PACCAR. They've then looked into opportunities to get a bachelor's further later on and go into engineering or to get something like a business degree and go into management. There's a lot of paths to take and PACCAR has so many opportunities. It's quite a diverse company.
Thank you, AJ. So I'm curious, for the panelists here, how many of us have used either the tuition reimbursement or gotten some kind of certification paid for from PACCAR? Pretty much everyone. So I got my CDL. I have my commercial driver's license. You can get your CDL through PACCAR. That's how I drove the truck up here from Renton. I think a couple others have their CDL, right? Used to. Yeah. And then I also got my PMP, which is a cool acronym, but it's Project Management Professional. So PACCAR is really all about furthering education, both for a professional degree. I'm planning to use them for my master's as well. So let's move over to Dean. Tell us about the proudest moment of your career so far.
Recurring theme, as I mentioned, I was a technician, automotive technician coming out of high school. I couldn't afford college. And always wanted to be an automotive engineer. It took me 20 years after high school to finish that degree. That was my proudest moment. I couldn't have done it without PACCAR.
So
develop. And I faced a lot of challenges. It was a very big learning opportunity, but I had a lot of support from a lot of people with the company who really made it happen. And earlier this year, I got to go up to the PACCAR Technical Center where I got to see it on the truck for the first time, and we got to calibrate it. And that was definitely my proudest moment. It felt like everything came around full circle, and it was very much Jerry, proudest moment of your career so far?
My background was in engineering and design, and after 20 years of doing that, working for the company, we had a big problem that we discovered with our trucks that were out there on the highway in use. And it looked like we were going to have to recall all those trucks and bring them back for repair. And even though it wasn't my responsibility, I had the support of my colleagues at the technical center, and we developed a little piece of hardware that we thought might solve the problem. And with the support of my colleagues and my management and all of the resources that the tech center had, we tested it, we validated it, we made sure that it would live in the environment on the truck, and we put that device in those trucks rather than recall them and save the company tens of millions of dollars. Very much a team effort.
Anyone else want to share theirs? No comment? Okay. Gina, you want to?
Calling me out. Proudest moment. I have so many proudest moments. The one, as they were talking, I didn't prep for this one at all. The one that popped into my head immediately when they started talking was definitely when I finished my master's degree in 2021. Not something I ever thought I would do, but the reason why it's my proudest moment is because my kids told me they were proud. So that was the moment that made me proudest.
So AJ, I'm going to give this one to you first. So we talked a little bit about how we ended up in trucking, but did you know the direction your career was going in when you graduated high school or college?
So when I was going to be student graduating high school, junior year, senior year, looking at what sort of career paths I might follow, I was very concerned about affording college. With that, I was looking at going into welding because I had been in a welding program for 2 years in high school. So I guess junior year was the second year of that. But I also was very interested in not only engineering and robotics, but law, psychology. I pretty much the most drastically different things I could been looking at, and I got into college and had no real path forward still. Didn't really know what I was doing. I was taking engineering courses because I thought that that was the most logical thing to do, but still really wasn't sure what I was doing. I got an internship after my sophomore year at college working at the PACCAR Technical Center. And there I found that I absolutely loved working with the trucks. I'd never been a car person, but the trucks were fascinating, and the team members that I was getting to work with were so cool to talk to. So when I went back to college then for my junior year, at the end of that summer, I went and I changed my specialization to better match that team's roles. So I specialized in mechatronics, in mechanical engineering. From there, I was pretty confident that I wanted to become an engineer. I wanted to work for PACCAR. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with that still, so I went back to Renton, to our truck plant, and worked as quality assurance as an intern for another summer, and got to run around the plant floor and see what everyone was doing there, which was incredibly cool. And then that still didn't quite feel like a right fit, even though I felt like I fit in a little bit better at the plant wasn't sure what was going to happen in my career at all until I got there. And that was true every single time I made a decision. I really didn't have a plan until I hit that point. But PACCAR has supported me through all of that. Thanks, David.
So a couple questions left. I'm also going to add on that. I mentioned I went for a music degree. Obviously didn't know where my path was going quite. My mom desperately wanted me to be an engineer, and now she gets to say I told you so just about every day because I work with engineers and I'm probably going to go get that degree as well. But that's why it's important to me with those first slides I talked about. I didn't care about going to a profitable company with a pension when I was your age. I'll just say that. But after getting that music degree and realizing, literally turning around and saying, how do I make money? So just pointing that out. Okay, a couple of questions left. Darren, what's your best advice for a graduating senior who has no idea what industry they want to go in?
My advice would be just get out there and do something. Get started on something. You can always change direction if you need to. But if you get into a job that you think you might have some interest in, ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Don't be afraid that it's a dumb question. Because you're young, you're new to that position, it's expected that you're going to be asking questions. If you don't ask questions, people will assume you're not interested. So get to know all the different jobs at that company so you can see if there's something there that might be a good fit.
Thank you, Darren. Anybody else burning for that one? Okay, we're gonna move on so we have enough time with the truck. Last two questions. So, Tasha, what are some unique things about the truck industry and working for a truck manufacturer that you didn't realize before working here?
So let's see. Because I come from passenger car, if you take a look at the inside of a truck, it's very, very different than a car. Not just in looks, but also in technology. Trucking industry for technology is about 10 years behind passenger car, which is actually really cool because any idea that you have or anything that you worked on in a car or have an idea for that you saw on a car may not necessarily have a patent for trucking. So you can get patents, which PACCAR will help you work with and basically get your name on something that if the technology gets implemented in the trucks, you then get bragging rights in a way, but also you make that much of a more impact on what you're doing. Yeah, that and they're very, very different to drive passenger car, which kind of is a given, but at the same time, like, we're working to try and make it easier for people to swap back and forth. But
Thank you. Brent, how about you? Brent, yeah. What are some unique things about working in our industry that you didn't realize before?
So I would say just how close of a family it feels, like when you're working in the trucking industry. So, you know, we build Kenworth and Peterbilt trucks, and PACCAR is very customer focused and supportive of those brands. And so, in my position, for example, you know, we are assisting, you know, customers get their equipment when it does break down fixed as quickly as possible. And so, you get to know a lot of people, you know, not only in the U.S., but with PACCAR being a global company, you know, all around the world. And all around the world, it still feels like an extended part of the family. So, you know, I would say just feeling like you're part of a family, like the trucking family.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm rushing them along so we get a couple more in. Yeah, unique about our industry.
truck can't get to a grocery store, that grocery store will run out of food within 3 days. So it's amazing to think about it. You know, it's just such a part of our lives that you don't realize how much impact it has. To Brett's point, the folks in trucking, they really care. Like the drivers really care, mechanics really care. They understand the importance of getting the trucks back up on the road. We talk a lot about at PACCAR Parts, the Parts Division uptime, that those trucks have to run, they have to go. During COVID, that's how medicine was transported, right? That's how goods came. So I think, you know, people don't really realize it. I certainly didn't until I started working in PACCAR. Just the impact that it has. Thank you.
Left, thereabout, and I want to get the last question here and get through 3 of you. So this will be the lightning round, but an important one. So Ashley, I'm going to start with you. What is your favorite part about working here?
I have multiple favorite parts. I love the people that I work with. I get excited to come to work and spend time with them, do team building activities. I feel supported and safe in the environment that I work in. I feel like I can ask questions and not feel dumb coming from an electrical background with a bunch of mechanical engineers. I love my job because I get to interface with a lot of people, I get to talk to a lot of people, I get to problem solve, and come up with something that I get to see eventually mean something.
Thank you.
Hands down the people, like no doubt about it. The best thing about working at PACCAR is the people. Anybody who's left the company, bad decision by the way, no, has always told me, oh, I wish I could stay. It's all about the people. Right now my role, I'm a PDC manager, so I have a team of, including myself, 49, and we are a family of 49. I get up every day, I go to work. Physically, I no longer work from home. I leave my actual family for my other family, so it's really, really, really important that what you do every day as a job is something you enjoy doing. Of course, we're all here to make some money, but it's the people and, you know, being happy at work that makes it all really special.
Yes, I'm closing it out, but I think just to reiterate, it is really the group of people that we work with. It makes me no happier than when I invest my time in my staff and others and peers, and you know, I see them get a promotion, or they get their degree, or they get their masters, or they picked up like a Tableau course and they're building some little robot thing that can process our invoices faster. So I think that's probably
Thank you.
So our internships will be posted just about a month or so after the beginning of the new year. They're typically posted around this time, so that's definitely a way to get connected. Also, for Mount Vernon, we definitely value diesel technicians and engineering degrees, things like that. So make sure to make your education a priority, and keep in mind the interns we're hiring are those who go above and beyond. So just don't stop at your degree or what you're doing in class. We want to see people working on cars, trucks, and every time doing SAE or engineering competitions. And that's the best way to get an internship, is go above and beyond your peers.
You guys all good? Any panelists want to share anything? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
Also, in terms of looking for internships, if you're curious about any of the departments, I think most of us have LinkedIn's. Like, please do feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. And I think I speak for all of my fellow panelists. It's always great to be able to tell people about our departments, what we do, what opportunities there are. We remember what it was like to be in your
truck, no one can drive it, so we got permission to pull the truck forward, yeah.
You guys, I want to thank you all for being here. I do want to add a safety precaution. The truck is parked out in the bus lane by the road. The road is still open, so I ask that you don't go out to the road and mess around and get hit by a car, because that would not be good. Okay?